Hey everybody, my name is Braden. Welcome back to another reaction video. Today we are reacting to the top 10 places on Earth that no human has ever visited. By some chill dude explains. That was a creative name, man. But like, this looks good. It's all drawn and shit. And like, you're telling me people have never been here? And like, what? Like they're just okay. So you know, on maps, like when videos are showing maps and they show like a dashed line and then like an X, it's like wait, what about all that space in between? Like do we actually physically touch all that land and like we've explored the whole world? Because haven't we not explored the whole world, and why not? Like, wouldn't it be kind of easy? Like, if we see the whole size of South America on a map, like we haven't explored it. Like, we can see it on a map, but we haven't explored it. I guess the world is just that big, which is pretty crazy. Because I kind of feel like the world's smaller than you think. Okay, everybody, let's get right into it.
Let's get right into it. Number 10, Gangkhar Puensum. Deep in the mountains of Bhutan, there's this massive peak called Gangkhar Puensum. It's the highest unclimbed mountain in the world, standing at a whopping 24,800 feet tall. Now you might be thinking, why hasn't anyone climbed it yet? We've climbed Mount Everest thousands of times. Well, here's the thing. Nobody's allowed to. Since 1994, the government of Bhutan has completely banned mountain climbing. They believe these mountains are sacred places where powerful spirits live, and they don't want anyone disturbing these spirits. But even before the ban, people tried to climb it and failed miserably. The main problem was that nobody could find the damn thing. I'm not kidding. The maps were so bad that expeditions in the 1980s couldn't even locate the mountain. The mountain
You're
is
just a
so
chill dude,
isolated
just
and
explaining
unexplored
it.
that we don't even have clear photos of its summit. Nobody knows what's up there. There could be undiscovered species living on its slopes,
Right?
or ancient artifacts preserved in
It's
the
got some
ice.
good opinions,
And
too.
unless Bhutan changes its mind about the whole sacred mountain thing, it'll probably stay that way. Number 9, the Crystal Cave of Mexico. This is a cave filled with crystals as big as school buses. It's hidden deep underground in Mexico. But this cave is basically trying to kill anyone who enters. The temperature inside is around 136 degrees Fahrenheit or 58 degrees Celsius. That's hot enough to cook an egg. And the humidity is nearly 100%, which means it feels like you're in the world's deadliest sauna. The air is toxic too. It's full of hydrogen sulfide and other nasty stuff that will kill you if you try to breathe it.
How do you even know that?
Scientists can only go in there for like 10 minutes at a time, and they have to wear these special cooling suits that make them look like astronauts. Otherwise, they'd literally cook from the inside out. Even with all our modern technology, most of this cave remains unexplored. Because let's face it, when your organs start failing after a few minutes, you're not going to stick around to do much sightseeing. The crazy part is these crystals took hundreds of thousands of years to form, and they're still growing. Scientists found some ancient microbes trapped inside these crystals. These tiny organisms have been sleeping in there for thousands of years. Number 8, the Yucatan Underwater Caves. Deep under Mexico, there's this huge network of underwater caves called cenotes. While some cave divers have checked out parts of these caves, most of them remain completely unexplored. And we're talking about thousands of caves, all connected like a giant underwater maze. Why hasn't anyone explored them all? Well, first off, it's super dangerous. The caves are dark, tight, and go on for miles. One wrong turn and you're lost in an underwater labyrinth. Plus, many of these caves are hidden in remote jungles. Just getting to them is a challenge. But here's what makes them really cool. These caves are like time capsules. The ancient Maya people thought they were gateways to the underworld. They used them for ceremonies, and sometimes threw valuable stuff in there. Scientists have found all sorts of things in the caves they've explored. Old pottery, jewelry, and even human bones from thousands of years ago. There's also weird animals living in these caves that have adapted to complete darkness. Some fish don't even have eyes because they've never needed them. Number 7, the Star Mountains. Imagine a place so remote and dangerous that no human has ever set foot there. That's the Star Mountains in Papua New Guinea. Now you might be thinking, come on, humans have been everywhere. But nope, these mountains are different.
But nope.
First off, they're in the middle of nowhere. We're talking deep in the jungles of Papua New Guinea, far from any cities or roads. Then, there's the terrain. These mountains are basically a wall of limestone cliffs covered in
Sometimes
dense
I just feel like
rainforest.
that's
Like
my only
nature
type
built
of
its own
comedy. I just
fortress.
say comments.
The weather is brutal too.
You know what I
It
mean?
rains constantly.
Like what the comment
The
section
place
is, that's just
crawling
me.
with
I just be
leeches
throwing
and
them
who
out
knows
there
what
like
else.
clips.
The mountains also have this massive cliff face called the Hindenburg Wall. It's like nature's version of the Great Wall of China, but no one's ever climbed it. Some local tribes live near the mountains, but even they haven't explored certain parts. That's how you know it's serious. when even the locals are like, nah, we're good. Number 6. The New Hebrides Trench. Imagine a place so deep in the ocean that if you dropped Mount Everest in it, the peak would still be underwater. That's the New Hebrides Trench. It's located in the South Pacific Ocean, between some islands called Vanuatu and New Caledonia, and it's one of the deepest places on Earth that we haven't explored yet. Why haven't we gone there? Well, it's about 7,200 meters deep. At that depth, the water pressure is so intense it would crush you like a soda can. We've sent some robots down there with cameras, and what they found is pretty wild. There are some seriously weird-looking fish and creatures living down there. Some of them don't even look like they're from Earth. The funny thing is, this place is actually helping us understand how life might exist on other planets. The extreme conditions down there are similar to what we might find on some of Jupiter's moons. Number 5. The Stone Forest of Madagascar. Deep in Madagascar, there's this place called Tsingy de Bemaraha National Park. It's a forest made entirely of razor-sharp stone spikes. The word Tsingy literally means where one cannot walk barefoot in the local language. These limestone formations are so sharp that they can slice through hiking boots like a hot knife through butter. Imagine trying to walk through a field of giant knives all pointing straight up. That's basically what this place is. These stone spikes formed over millions of years as rainwater slowly dissolved the limestone, creating these deadly sharp
It's like a Mortal
formations.
Kombat
Some of these stone
place,
spikes are as tall
right?
as a
Isn't
5-story
it?
building, and they're packed so tightly
Crazy.
together that it's impossible
And you're
to
telling me
squeeze
not at
between
least
them.
2 people
While
have
some
thought
brave
there?
people have explored the edges of this stone forest using special equipment like ropes and harnesses, most of the interior remains completely untouched by humans. It's just too dangerous to navigate. But this place is full of life. There are plants and animals that have evolved to live in this deadly
Lemurs living
environment.
there is hard
Some
as
of them
hell.
are
That's
found
cool.
nowhere
Like how
else on
unique.
Earth.
What an
Scientists believe there might be
interesting
even more
environment to be
undiscovered species
coming
hiding
from. Like
in
imagine
there, but
Minecraft
good
made a
luck
stone
trying to
spikes
find them.
biome and lemurs
Number
spawn
4.
there.
The heart of the Namib Desert.
That's what I think about.
Picture this, a sea of endless sand dunes, some taller than the Empire State Building, constantly shifting and moving like waves in the ocean. This is the Namib Sand Sea, and its interior has never been visited by humans. Why hasn't anyone explored it? Well, first off, the sand dunes are always moving. It's like trying to make a map of clouds. By the time you draw it, everything's changed. Then there's the weather. During the day, the sand gets so hot, your shoes might literally melt if you stand still too long. At night, it drops to freezing, and good luck finding any water here. The place is also huge, about the size of Maryland. But unlike Maryland, there are no roads, no 7-Elevens, nothing. Just sand, sand, and more sand. And here's the thing, even if you wanted to explore it, you probably couldn't. It's protected as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. They don't want people messing up the delicate ecosystem. Number 3, Sandy Island. So there's this island that shows up on maps between Australia and New Caledonia. Sounds normal, right? Well, here's the weird part. It doesn't actually exist. For hundreds of years, people thought Sandy Island was real. It was on Google Maps and everything. Even Captain James Cook, the famous explorer, wrote about seeing it back in the 1700s. But in 2012, some Australian scientists decided to go check it out. They got on their fancy research boat, sailed to where the island was supposed to be, and found nothing. Just open ocean. No island. Not even a tiny rock sticking out of the water. So what happened? Well, nobody really knows. Maybe it was there at some point and sank. Maybe it was just a huge mapping mistake that kept getting copied over and over. Or maybe it was a floating chunk of volcanic rock that looked like an island, but eventually drifted away. The craziest part is that this happened in 2012, not hundreds of years ago. We had satellites and GPS and everything, but we still had a fake island on our maps. Number 2, Northern Greenland. You might be thinking,
Fuck, man.
people explored all of
Fuck if I
Greenland
know.
already?
Isn't that
No,
weird?
not exactly. While people have lived on Greenland's coast
Like when,
for
like
thousands
it,
of years,
there's no
the
picture of
middle
it. It
part
just
of
didn't
Greenland
exist.
is
Like,
completely
okay.
untouched. Why? Because it's basically impossible to get there. First off, there's this massive ice sheet covering about 80% of Greenland. We're talking about ice that's over a mile thick in some places. Then you've got the weather. It's not just cold, it's the type of cold that would freeze your eyelashes together. Add in crazy strong winds and months of complete darkness during winter, and you've got yourself a place that's pretty much telling humans to stay away. But here's where it gets interesting. Under all that ice, there's a whole hidden world we know nothing about. There could be mountains, valleys, and even lakes that no human has ever seen. Scientists think there might even be tiny life forms living in these underground lakes, and as the ice melts, they're finding new islands that weren't on any maps before. Number 1, The Taklamakan Desert. Imagine a place so harsh and unforgiving that it's nicknamed the Desert of Death. This desert is huge. We're talking about an area bigger than the entire United Kingdom. And right in the middle of it, there's this
It's not
massive
that fucking
region where
big.
no
Not even
humans
gonna
ever
lie.
been. Why hasn't
Not
anyone
gonna lie to
explored
y'all.
it? Well, first off,
Texas is bigger than
like,
that, for sure.
at all.
But I know
Walking
other
isn't
stuff
quite a
is.
single
Like,
drop.
that was a
Getting there is
horrible
also a
comparison.
nightmare.
Like,
It's
Illinois
surrounded
is
by
probably
huge
bigger,
mountains on all sides.
right?
Even with
I saw a
modern
comparison like that
technology,
the other day. That's what I was
reaching the
trying
middle
to
of
say. I
this
don't know why
desert
the
is
fuck I
almost
said
impossible. The name Taklamakan literally means the place of no return in the local language. That's not exactly encouraging, is it? What makes this even cooler is that scientists think there might be entire lost cities buried under the sand. Back
I mean,
in the
why
day,
the heck?
this
Didn't mean to
desert was
swear.
part of the Silk Road
Watch your
trading
language,
route,
everybody.
but only around the edges. Nobody dared to go into the center. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future.
Hell yeah,
Subscribe to
everybody
see
check
them.
out Chill Dude Explains. Because this is a pretty good video, man. And he told all the information good and he wrote the pictures well. Like, I was kind of thinking, like, how do you do that? Like, how do you get the edit? How do you get the process down? Because it was good. It's like I don't know. Looks like he really wants to make good content. That's what it feels like. Having a good day, feeling good. Hope everybody else does too. Or night, whatever you want to do. Do it like safely and with the people you love, or if you want, or you love yourself. Everybody make sure to. Thanks for watching.